Hello, everybody. Recording live from somewhere. But I have a dream. My poor little children one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin. I have a dream. I will move it. We make them. Move it. Move it. Move it. We'll fight in France. We'll fight on the beaches. We shall never surrender. We'll never surrender.
I saw the look in his eyes. This guy's crazy. I have a microphone.
So you will listen to every damn word I have to say!
Ladies and gentlemen, put our hands together for
Damn. Hi. Damn. Hi.
Boom. We're recording episode 3.
3 is a magic number. No more, no less.
Gotta love that last song. Gotta love it.
Oh man, we should chuck that in the intro.
Oh, that's ag. That's so much. Maybe season 3. Yeah, actually, season 3 we'll go with that because that can recur throughout episodes. But
Well, now you've made it, we can just drop tracks into it. Yeah, Mike made the beat, by the way, in case you didn't know.
yeah, I mean, it's so rewarding to come out with something that I think sounds pretty good at the end of it. But it's so much effort to do. I'm not doing that every episode, mate.
I do like the samples. There's one in there towards the end. I think it's Kickboxer.
I've seen this guy. This guy's crazy.
Yeah, that's when the brother's laying in hospital.
But you brought me onto that. I remember you sending me it going, oh, that's got to be in there.
And what's the other one? What's that last one?
What, intro? Intro
Yeah,
is...
wedding singer.
That's not the last one. The wedding singer is the last long sample straight after Kickboxer. But then you've got... there's loads of bits in there. So you've got like Dave Chappelle, obviously one of both of our favourite comedians. Mm-hmm. He does the hi. It's when he does a white guy impression. He's like, hi guys.
Hi. Two.
So I just cut that hi.
Hi. And obviously you can probably tell where the last one comes from.
Hey, guys.
Happy days. Yeah, nice. I like that.
But yeah, mate. Yeah, as I said, I'm not doing that every episode. It's a lot of effort, my friend. What's been going on with you? It's been a week since episode 2. How's things?
Has been a week. Buzzing, mate. Buzzing.
Why?
Ovs. The Irons.
Oh. Mate, I did watch that speech. Do you know what? Funnily enough, I watched it from 10 minutes on, so I didn't see the 2 disallowed goals at the start from their side.
Oh, probably looked like we played really well then.
I thought it was one of the best games you've had. In fact, the pundit after, I can't remember who it was like, best game I've seen him play all season.
Well, no, we weren't that good, but I'm happy now because we've caught up on all the games in hand. We're still there. We're still in the mix. Shouldn't be really, but we are.
Mate, you're doing all right. With your next game in hand, with those 3 points pushed back 4th.
Yeah, we'll see. We've got your mob next.
Oh, yes.
Forgot about that.
Same.
No,
that's going to be...
no Cavani, no Pogba, no Rashford.
Oh, mate, don't need it. Do you see what we did to Man City?
Oh, Luke Shaw, isn't it? Left back.
Oh, yeah. And then he went up and tried to do it again. It was epic.
Yeah, decent.
But I'll take that, mate. Again, I'm quite a humble United fan. Know that we fell from grace and it was going to be a steady climb. And I actually had an accumulator on for us to draw because I was like, that's best we're going to get out today. 21 games unbeaten or whatever it was.
Never bet on your own team.
Well, no. And good, because then we stopped Man City's long run. Got ourselves, I say closer. It's still something like 14 points. But yeah, and it's been a good week for football for both of us, I think.
Yeah, man. Love it.
Also, this week, International Women's Day on Monday.
Yep.
Now, enough love to all the women out there in our lives, obviously, and everyone else.
I'm a minority in my household.
You are, yeah. But, I mean, not just to international women, the ones down the street, you're pretty cool too. So, big up to all the women. Burger King didn't think the same thing. No, I thought this was hilarious. You probably wouldn't have picked up on this. Burger King tweeted, literally, just this. Women belong in the kitchen. That's a pretty... You're saying that for a reaction, right?
Well, obviously, they're following that up with another text that's going to make that one look silly, but that's just in a little bit bad taste, isn't it?
It is. They did follow it up. So they said, if they want to, of course, only 20% of chefs are women. We're on a mission to change the gender ratio in the restaurant industry by empowering female employees with the opportunity to pursue a culinary career.
Yeah, I think whoever was the joke writer that week's probably going to get sacked.
And I mean, it's not much of a joke after. That was like an official statement after. That sounds to me like someone mucked up big time there.
I tried a bit of banter, but I just don't think that's the arena to
The
be
apprentice
bringing.
got higher and tweeted
bringing that
women
up then.
belong in the kitchen. They're like, oh, we've got to turn this around.
People take this stuff seriously, women's weeks.
Well, yeah. I mean, you should do all the time, but that's like International Women's Day. We're going to say something bold like that. Brilliant.
Ain't no one got time for fucking steak and blowjob day. Barely gets a mention.
Do you know what's really annoying? I only figured this out the other day. They fucking put Mother's Day on Steak and Blowjob Day.
Did they?
14th March. Is it? Yeah, this Sunday.
That'll explain the baby boom.
Yeah, but hold on. You don't want them in the same category ever. Yes, Steak and Blowjob Day. My missus is going to give it to me good. Oh shit, it's Mother's Day. That's a weird day, isn't it? Go around there for a roast dinner and then go home to steak.
Well, actually, I'll hold you there. You actually can't go around your mum's at the moment. Boris has been kind enough to publish things we can and can't do. As we mentioned the other week, he decided to let us go back. Well, as of Monday this week, he has said that one person can meet another person from a different household outside for recreation.
Sweet.
Not
Well done.
Not just exercise.
So going back to what you said about meeting your mates on a park bench drinking cider.
Recreation, isn't it?
Well, technically you can now. You ain't got to be doing exercise.
That's all right. I'll take that.
I'm there. Well, I'll see you, what day are you free? I'll come meet you on the bench.
A lot of you parents may have realised that it has all changed with the fact that the kids did go back to school.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
If you're like me, that was red wine on the cornflakes that morning.
And lunch. And
A couple of lagers by lunch, you know what I mean? I was spark out on the city by about 2 o'clock. Great day.
Hope your boss ain't listening.
My boss was sitting next to me. Nah, jokes.
But yeah, kids have gone back to school, so...
Kids are back in. Controversial though, isn't it? Because they're sending them back.
Controversial?
Controversial. Sorry. Controversial.
Okay.
Kids, some are wearing masks, some ain't.
Well, there's all different...
Who's in contact with them and who ain't?
There's all different rules and stuff. So it's like senior school kids have got one set of rules. Primary school kids have got a different set of rules. I know teachers have got to do home tests. So they have to do it twice a week from home. They get given the kit and then they record it, I think, with the school.
That's what the kids have got to do. Kids have got to take two a week as well.
So your little one goes to, obviously, it's not school, is it? It's like preschool.
She's exempt. She ain't got to have this stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Do preschools have to have
Not
tests?
that I know of. No, not that I know.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's weird. Sets of rules for different things. But is that it then? So we're allowed to go and drink cider on a park bench and the kids are back at school, so...
Yeah, a couple of other bits in there. Residential care. It's been quite a big thing concern. A lot of stories where families couldn't go and visit anyone and they were talking to their, parents through windows.
Yeah, close mate of mine's Nana and Grandad were in a care home and he used to see him every day before they went in there, and then he wasn't on the list as such, or he wasn't allowed to see him. It's crazy.
Boris has seen sense on that one. One person can go and visit regularly now. That's all right. And I suppose just to kind of tidy that off, I mean, Errol's still employed.
And you can go and visit her now.
He's not used any furlough cash. He's been a key worker the whole time.
Happy days. Look, we can't avoid summing up the week without talking about Harry and Meghan going to see Oprah, or if you're in the group chats, Ian White dressed in drag.
I'll tell you what, I've never seen him in the same room at the same time. Just saying.
I tell you, if you haven't seen it, have a look because it is hilarious.
It was brilliant. It kicks off a 1,000 memes today, which is a humorous side, but I mean it comes with a bit of a puzzling side, really. What? Sum it up for me, man. What did they actually say?
Well, I paid attention to this mainly because we're doing the podcast, and I knew that this would just blow up. This would dominate the news. So I thought, right, I've got to watch the interview because, firstly, outright, I want to say I am a big believer in read quotes. Don't read the journalist opinion around those quotes because they can twist things and stir it into different things. I always want to see what they actually said, in what context, in the middle of a sentence, right?
Can a quote not be taken out of context?
Are you kidding me? That's what a media engine does, isn't it?
Mm.
But what we've got, right, you've got Meg saying things like, there was a story about her making Kate cry where actually it was the other way around, and she said that was the turning point. which I felt was quite strong. She asked for help from the institution, which she kept referring to him as institution.
Yeah, or firm, weren't it?
Yeah, or comms team. When she mentioned around suicide, she said it would have solved everything for everyone. That's how she felt, which again, I felt mental health is quite a sensitive subject for everyone. And I feel that was quite strong, the way she worded that.
Yeah, I agree, yeah, definitely.
It hits a point with certain people.
Yeah, mental health is a strong point, but we'll probably just drop that out.
That's a big conversation, mental health, yeah. But you've got concerns and conversation about how dark his skin might be when he's born. That's a direct quote. So she said there was concerns and conversations about how dark Archie's skin would have been beforehand. That's big. That's hitting headlines. That
is the one that don't sit with me.
Okay, we'll go into that in a sec. But you've got also there was Harry. Obviously, half of it was Meg first, then the other half was Harry.
Yeah,
if you've been under a rock and you haven't seen this,
come on halfway through, didn't he?
Yeah, which I thought was a bit moody. Is it like she's saying things not in front of him or things that he wouldn't agree with, so she did it without him?
Typical of the vehicle. She wants some of that spotlight on her. So
I suppose it's her Oprah interview. Yeah. But then they got into it with Harry. When he said about his dad, he said he feels really let down because he's been through similar things. He said his dad stopped taking his calls because I took matters into my own hands and I needed to do this for my family.
It's a bit much, isn't it? Like detail that they've given over. Surely this should stay in-house.
It should, but that's the whole big deal about the interview itself. He's talked about his brother as well, saying that their relationship is space at the moment, which is quite vague on purpose. And he's saying things like, my father and my brother, they're trapped, they don't get to leave. Give us your take. So there's a few bullet points there, and we'll get into it a bit, but what do you think of, firstly, what Meg's saying? When she's saying about the whole thing with Kate was actually the other way round and the institution didn't back her up.
Well, I said the other day, didn't I? I said I ain't a royalist.
Yeah.
I'm not. But I feel almost like I should be a little bit defensive on their behalf, but it feels a little bit like a malicious attack.
I guess the patriotic side in all of us kind of thinks, hold on a minute, that's our royal family.
There's a couple of bits I struggle with all of this, right? There's no proof of anything. So all we're literally listening to is he said, she said, this is what went down. We've got no proof either, right? They could say anything.
There is certain proof of finances because when they come out of the Inner Royals, they were dropped as employees of the institution. Therefore, you can trace that with bank records and payments and this, that, and the other. So that's the only kind of evidence. When they didn't receive the financial support, when she talks about other support, that's different.
Yeah, but surely there's a reason behind that, though, isn't there? The fact that them finances fell away?
Well, what confused me about it was they say about like Archie wasn't going to become a prince. They wasn't going to name him a prince.
Well, no, it's not in his line.
But, well, no, that's the natural thing to do. It's a grandchild of the Queen. He should be a prince. But when did that happen? For me, that didn't get explained enough. Did that happen after they said they didn't want to be part of the royals that do the duties? Or is it before all of that? Because then that's different. That's one's insulting, one's kind of, well, you give up the title, so fair dues.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's spurious, man, a lot of this stuff. But it can't be authenticated. What you're essentially doing is pitting two media teams and two PR teams against each other, and they're playing this out in the public eye. They're battling for opinion, and this is a big move, bold move. I personally think they'll live to regret this. And I don't mean that like right-hand turns in Paris. I mean, I think they'll grow as people, and they'll look back at themselves and how they've acted, and maybe what they've prioritised now. And I think, in 20 years' time, I think they'll probably look back at this and go, yeah, probably shouldn't have done that.
I think Harry will regret this because his intentions seem very clear, as in, I'm just going to be honest, I want to clear up. Their big problem is the media and how they twist things. And then what it felt like for me was, it was Meghan defending herself against the institution wouldn't back her up in the media, even though some of the stories were the other way round. And it might have favoured other people, like Kate, with the whole crying thing on the wedding day. It kind of, their backlash, as in, you wouldn't stick up for us, you made us seem like these kind of people, this is us saying our piece, right? And this is what actually happened. That's the vibe I got from it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that's hearsay. Now, what I'll say is, I'm not saying this has happened. There has got to be a fabric in there of real life. But if I'm about to go onto Oprah, and I know this is going to get beamed around the globe, and it's probably going to be one of the most watched TV occurrences of the year for definite.
That's going down like Super Bowl, yeah.
And, you know, this is going to make a massive, massive blueprint of how people are going to view me and my relationship and my opinion of what happened on all of this.
Yeah.
Are you not going to get some kind of script writing advice in?
From whose part?
Celebrities. They have...
Sorry, do you mean Harry and Meghan or Oprah?
Both. More so Harry and Meg. It's all script written. Like, a lot of Oprah's interactions and prompting from a journalistic point of view, it's script written. But I'm just thinking, because they almost lined up the footage of the Diana interview and the Meghan interview. And they looked at the language that was used, the words that were used, the way they describe things, the way they used body language, and it was very, very, very similar.
There's a reason. So she actually says about one of the closest people to her, one of the people that's helped her out the most, was Diana's best friend. About the leaving the royal family and how to deal with things. She's used her as a confidant. And then that's where I think the similarities come from, as in, she's probably not studied those interviews, but looked over those interviews and gone, okay, that's the way she's presenting herself. Similar things have happened to me, so I'll take on that form. Because, and this is touchy, right? And I want this to be taken in the context I mean it. When she talks about suicide, I genuinely believe her. There's no doubt about it. I think in her situation and the way she took it, being in that situation, that she would have felt that low. I do believe that. I do think it was then Oprah's reaction to it was to milk it on a bit and make it huge, right? Which then provoked a reaction in Meghan, which made her start crying. And she is pregnant as well, and it's a touchy subject.
Brilliantly played by the scriptwriters. Played out exactly how they wanted.
Yeah, that kind of does prove your point there. But
I'm just saying, man, it all just feels a little bit clipped,
organised,
a little bit like it's pressing the buttons. It knows it's going to get the answers and reactions from. I mean, they had to do this, they wanted to do this, but it feels a bit too stage managed for me.
The thing I think we should be taking out of this, and no offence to her, it should more be about Harry. He's our kind of prince. When you're talking royal family,
he's gone, bruv.
But he's blood related.
We've lost him.
Yeah, we have lost him. But he's even said himself, I had the option to leave. My dad and my brother don't. They have to play that role because they're direct heirs to the throne.
Do you ever just get the feeling he's just been a bit of a melt?
No, honestly, I think he sees his wife suffering and he's raising his kid, and it wasn't going to go well in the media, and the institution itself weren't going to back him up really and try and overturn the stories. So he was just like, allow this, I'm out. I'm done. I ain't seeing all
which
this
is
stuff
the information
going.
we've just had revealed to us. So that's a kind of that formulated opinion, which I get. He's kind of off the back of new information.
No, I thought that anyway. I thought when he did the James Corden thing, he pretty much made it clear. He was like, I'm just done with stories getting twisted and he said, she said, and people not backing each other up and stuff like that. I just think he's like, do you know what? Allow this. I'm done. I can't deal with this. I've got a wife. I've got a new kid. She's pregnant again. I just want to settle down. Fuck all this stuff.
Yeah, we've all got a mate, haven't we? Who, when they get with a girlfriend, they change a little bit. And if you haven't got that kind of mate, bad news
You're
for
that
you, buddy.
mate.
You are that person.
That mate.
We've all got that mate, haven't we? And he gets with a girl. He used to do this, he used to do that, come out and do whatever. And slowly the excuses start coming in. Oh, sorry, can't make football this week, lads. Something's going on. Oh, can't do this, can't do that. And slowly but surely,
yeah,
that woman will change personality. That could go the other way. Don't get me wrong. It could be, the male, changing the female personality and her behaviour.
And no matter what way it happens in their relationship, the fact of the matter is he's all in and nothing else. That's hoes before bros.
Hey, Gez like a KP skip. He is a melt.
Nah,
whipped.
Look,
he is pussy whipped.
To round this off, all I will say is you're going to see loads of shit in the news. What you need to do is watch the interview and make your own opinion off of what they actually said, because everyone else will twist it. I'll always say on any news article, anything that's going on in the world, read the facts or watch the interview and see what they actually said.
Flip a coin, heads or tails. One of them's telling the truth. Here's one for you that I've seen.
Go on.
Over a course of a 3-day period, place in Royston, Hertfordshire, over 100 people's car fobs suddenly stopped working.
What?
Not the same time. Over a course of 100 days.
100 days.
Sorry, 100 days. Sorry, 100 occurrences over the 3 days. There's conspiracy theories out there that people think it was a full moon. Blame that along with the idea it could be some kind of like alien phenomena.
They're like Facebook keyboard warriors. They're like, it's got to be the full moon, man.
Oh no, it's the alien side that interests me.
Okay.
Well, obviously, I do like my space stories and bits like that.
We've covered it enough. I think we've covered our galaxy.
I do like it. I'm watching something at the minute, and it's about a fella who is an alien, and he's down on planet Earth, and he's trying to learn human behaviour. You've
told me about it. It's Resident Alien.
I
still haven't watched it, but yeah, go on.
It's absolutely brilliant, right?
Yeah.
It's a geezer. What was that film? Dodgeball? You got the Pirate Pete guy.
He's that.
He's him.
And he's also A Knight's Tale. He's the ginger one in that.
Yeah. He's quite a funny comedic actor, but he has, like Sheldon completely sells an autistic level functioning human.
Yeah, the weird kind of awkward.
This geezer sells being half human, half alien to an absolute T. It's one of the best character pieces I've ever seen.
Big shout.
Ever seen. It's brilliant. So get on that, man. That's really good.
Resident Alien. All right, I'll do that. Go on.
Which is what I'm hoping this is. I'm hoping that we've got our own little resident alien who is living in Royston, and he's just going around fucking with people's car fobs.
And he's like, oh, sorry, I flicked my finger at the wrong point. And it just hovers there for 3 days, some little nuclear fucking glow that's cutting out people's cars.
What is it? If it ain't aliens, what is it?
It's a teenager geek with I think is it EMT or something, where it just cuts out all electric pulses.
Yeah, knocks them right out, doesn't it?
Yeah, I reckon someone's done that.
Could be something with the moon, magnetic reflection, something like that. Anyone out there that is an expert in these kind of fields, give us a shout, because we ain't got a scoop. But the best I've got is aliens.
Yeah, all the scientists that listen to this regularly, which I'm sure are thousands and millions of them.
Sanju sends his regards.
We should reach out to these people, give them shout outs, and see if they want to come on the show and start actually explaining things properly.
Be fair, he might have a bit of time on his hands now.
He's the one flying the rover, isn't he?
Yeah, it's all done, isn't it? Isn't it all wrapped up? Is it still up there?
Oh, well, surely.
How long do the batteries last?
That's a quick... I'm pretty sure it does it off, like, when you say solar power, this shit's facing the sun. There's no ozone layer in there. And he's sitting there. He don't need batteries. He's got a solar panel on the back of his Xbox controller, right? All the buttons work, no stickiness whatsoever, because there's no humidity, right? He's just loving... Oh, no, sorry, he's in Lewisham.
Well, Professor Gupta, if you are listening, give us a shout, get involved.
Yeah, 100%. Come on this... Well... If you could send me a video of you doing a 360 around Mars, that'd be sick.
Any outtakes will be greatly received.
Hearing it crashing into rocks. Ah, cheer. Do you reckon it's like one of those old remote control cars? Remember the red and the blue ones? And they had the fat wheels. So as you used to hit walls, it used to flip and go up, like flip off walls, and just, it could go down mountains and shit. It was sick.
That's what they used to be on the advert, weren't it? They were bollocks, though. You'd watch them things, and you'd have a kid. It was like called a Tonka truck back in my day, and they could they'd be like, "Oh, it's indestructible. Watch us push it off a cliff. Rah, it's absolutely brilliant." Belt it off the top of the stairs, fucking 5,000 pieces by the time it gets to the bottom. Load of bollocks.
In your day, you had to wind up the toys, didn't you?
Yeah, load of bollocks.
You know Jim from Vicar of Dibley? He died today. He died 89 years of age. It was dementia related. Nothing to do with COVID.
No.
Yes.
Bless him. One thing that's made my piss fizz this week.
Your piss fizz?
Piss fizz, man, I'm telling you. Okay. Right? I won't go... There's economics around it, but as an headline, 1% pay increase for NHS.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you begin?
Well, one thing I did see about it and how that come to my attention, there was a woman who organised a protest about it, and I think there was something like 40 people that turned up to it, but they fined her 10 grand for it.
Jesus.
And straight away that made me think, hold on, if you're not allowed to protest anymore, then when they bring in these laws to put you into lockdown, if they're actually bad laws and you don't agree with them, you're not even allowed to protest them.
Is that normal? 10 grand fine?
I think that's probably making an example of them.
40, no, was it 10 or 40?
It was a 10 grand fine.
10 grand fine.
Yeah, for the women who organised the protest. So she's obviously done it like publicly over social media and stuff like that to be traced to her. But
Did anyone chip in? Anyone help her?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything else about it yet, really. But I mean, I don't want to deter from the fact that that's disgusting. 1% pay rise.
I'll try and remain calm about it. I don't want to Piers Morgan out on this shit, but
No, my big points are politicians have had to do more work than usual this year. NHS staff has had to do a lot more work than usual this year. What percent pay rise did the politicians get compared to the nurses? That's what I'm going with.
But that's not how their pay rises are calculated.
But they're calculated over 4 or 5%, aren't they?
It's the industry, man. Like NHS, incredible. Without doubt, they've had to work really, 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 really hard, and a lot of people have gone through extraordinary lengths this year. What I will say is that is an extraordinary year. You do sign up for the job. When you sign up and train to become a nurse, you know you ain't going to be earning 100 grand a year. You know that when you sign up. Because you've had to work harder in your job, a lot harder. I'm not trivialising this, and I'm not trying to like underplay it or be facetious in any way, but just because you have had to work harder in your job, should you get paid more? That's one argument. Second kind of thing that underpins this for me is the economic side. Where's that money going to come from?
No, it's not that. Every industry will receive a pay rise each year. It's due to inflation. It's healthy. It's good for the economy.
It's been drained though, isn't it? With COVID, it had such a strain put on it.
Not really, because all the stuff that's been given out has to be paid back. So there's been tax exemptions for businesses and stuff. That's a good thing, and that's probably money that the government miss out on. But everything else, when they do these crisis loans, when they've helped people put pauses on payments for like loans, mortgages, whatever, they all add interest. They all add interest on to the end of everything.
Well, this is why it's annoying me so much about it, is depending on what job you're in. I mean, I've worked for companies where you don't necessarily get a pay rise every year. It might get deferred on depending on how well your business is performing above profit lines.
Yeah.
You know, that can be tied in with the role. Why not just defer this and just say to them, look, if we looked at things now and we calculated what your bonus or your pay rise is going to be, I'm really sorry to say it's only you're looking at about 1%. However, if we defer this for another 6 months, another 12 months, we might be in a much better position where we can make that more substantial. I don't know what substantial looks like, 3 to 5%, whatever that might be. But would that not be better? Who's out there hanging out for that 1% increase right now going, I need that 1% to survive? Just hang it out for a bit, man. Like, as a government, hang it out. Like, offer them something better.
I think maybe people would accept more what you just said, as in you can have 1% now with a guarantee of something else in the future. I don't think they'll settle for anything less than a guarantee. But if you was to turn around and say, once we have to spend less on COVID-related care, so PPE kits and testing kits and everything like that, once we wipe this year, once that bill goes down, we will use that money to put back into a pay rise. So you'll all end up with, and they'll calculate it, say it comes out at 4 or 5%. Now, I think they'll be a lot happier with that, and actually it's for a good cause, as in you will get your pay rise, but once that bill's gone down to pay for that, we will then give it back to you, which is more than what you had to start with, and that's our thank you for everything that you went through, everything that you did, and you'll continue to receive that pay going forward.
I'd be interested to know what a typical pay rise looked like before, pre-COVID.
What, for NHS staff?
Were they always getting 1%?
Sorry, do you mean just for NHS staff?
Yeah. It's not exactly a profit-making organisation, is it? I don't think so.
No, but it's always talked about. I think every year I remember seeing something about it in the news. It's when the Chancellor's budget comes out, isn't it? So there's always news about it, but you never really pick up on it until now, because the NHS is big news, and because of what it's gone through and what those people and those members of the staff have gone through.
Political suicide now, mate. If you're running for Prime Minister and you are talking about any kind of NHS cuts, which they all used to do, you've got to rob Peter to pay Paul. But you mention NHS as a cut now, that's it, you're done, mate. You're out of the race. Game over.
Well, at least it's a rise instead of a cut now, I guess, yeah. That does bring us nicely on to debate point. So we do this every week, right? The one we've gone with this week kind of ties into what you've just brought up. We've got, should men and women receive equal pay in every industry?
Inflammatory. That's an inflammatory question, which is going to, it's the point.
Controversial, yeah.
It's the point of debate. Hopefully we can do this a little bit of justice. I know there's, probably people there already throwing their phones out the window on this one, but hopefully we can do this a little bit of justice. Give it a little bit of weight in International Women's Week.
Well, yeah, it is in respect of International Women's Day, Monday, just gone. I want to start off by saying that as a question.
Yeah, let's break that question down.
Yeah, should men and women receive equal pay in every industry? So we're not just talking
keywords industry
across the board. You're breaking it down into industries and whether they should or shouldn't in those industries.
You're going to look at the fact it's industry.
Yeah, so my immediate fault goes to football, as it mostly does with most topics, right? Because I know it inside out as a business and as a social influence, shall we say, on men across the country, right?
Yeah, I'll set a good example of it, actually.
Now, I'm going to say no, which will probably get some blood boiling. But when it comes to football, men's football generates so much more money than women's football. So you've got ticket sales, TV subscriptions that they pay for, just kit sales, sponsorship deals, everything. The advertising in between matches.
So much more money.
So much more money. It generates so much more revenue. So those players should be paid more, I think, because they generate that much more money. It's like a profit share of that industry.
It's an entertainment industry. That's what exactly. Football has become. That's much like as saying,
should Tom Cruise be paid the same amount of money as a girl I went to school with who's just starred in her first film?
If they were starring in the same role in the same film, why not?
Tom Cruise is a more quality actor, proven through experience. That's like you starting in a new job, for example.
Well, there you go. That's the differential.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if
no one's going to that film to watch whatever old girl. They're going there to watch Tom Cruise. Therefore, Tom Cruise deserves to be paid more to make that film.
Exactly that. So that applies to every industry, I think. But then there are certain industries where there's no difference. It's based on skill. So you've got a normal desk job, right? You input data into Excel, right. Okay? That's all you do all day.
I do love a bit of Excel.
Men and women should be paid the same for that, 100%.
Yeah.
If there's someone, no matter what gender, that can do double the amount you can, then yeah, they should be paid more.
Not necessarily. Say you apply for that job, it's £8.50. And they say, this is what you need to do to fulfil this role. Great. Yeah. You do that, it's £8.50. If you're not performing at that level, don't you manage to manage you up?
But if I've been in that job for 3 years and I'm smashing out 10 times as much as you can, and you've just come in, I should be paid more than you, right?
Well, surely you would do, wouldn't you? Through natural appraisals going through?
Every year you'd have like a end of year summary or whatever you want to call it in your industry, but it would be an indicator as to what you've done throughout that year. If you've ticked certain boxes, you should be paid more the year after to say.
So that's not gender specific, then, is it?
Exactly that.
Within a role, you could get paid more than your peer, male or female, just because you perform better in the role.
But then it gets technical. So go back to the football thing. When you say perform better in a role, men's football generates more money. Now, is that the fact?
As a product, yeah, definitely.
Is that the fact that women would have a problem with, as in why do they generate more money?
That's just exposure, and it's the platform that goes in. Don't get me wrong, it's one of the fastest growing female sports platforms at the minute, soccer.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, just said soccer, I mean football. I was thinking of the Americans. Oh, yeah, sorry.
But it's being promoted left, right and centre. You look at Sky Sports, they're trying to show more women's games and they advertise it with the men's games. It got a bit confusing, I must admit. I see stories, like we said about clickbait. Yeah. You get stories around football, and it's like Man City sign third best striker in the world. And you're like, oh shit! And you go on it's Man City Women's. You're like, oh.
I think that's a deliberate tactic, as you say.
I think it is
deliberate,
as well.
but it's trying to blend it in.
But you genuinely click on it and you're like, hold on a minute. And it doesn't make it apparent that it's a women's team throughout the whole opening of the article whatsoever.
I mean, I've got no beef with the whole concept of women's. I mean, it's not even fair to call it a concept. Women's football, it's growing. I mean, you and I, when my daughter was born, one of the first things we did was put a ball at her feet, and
yeah, man, I bought her it for Christmas either last year or the year before.
And we wanted her to play a little bit of football. I mean, I don't think there's any gender barriers now.
No, my mate's little girl, she's playing as a main striker for her football team in a all-boys team apart from her, and she is quality, mate. All because, and I told you this about your little girl as well, from when she could walk, we had a football around her, or a little ball around her, and as she went to pick it up, it was like, no hands, kick it. But a toddler of any gender will go to pick it up.
They do. Yeah, Matt will think when they try to pick it up, don't they?
And what you tend to tell boys from that age is, no, kick it, right?
Yeah.
If you tell a girl the same thing, she'll come out and do the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, wasn't trying to push her that way whatsoever. Her dad, wasn't trying to push her into football or anything like that. But it's like an equal opportunity kind of thing, I guess you can say.
It is more accessible to them now, which is why you're going to see and continue to see this fan base grow around women's soccer. It's going to grow and grow. Kids are going to grow up now. It is going to be the norm for them. Previously, it wasn't necessarily the norm, and it'd be the odd parent that would expose it. But now I can guarantee you that there's 50% of the girls up and down the country, under whatever age you want to call it, are playing football just as much as they're playing anything that's not necessarily associated with what they should have been doing. And they're going to grow. These guys are going to grow into the next generation. It's going to give female football a bigger, larger base. It's going to get more crowds coming to come and watch female football.
Yeah.
Female football are going to grow in their sponsorship.
What I will say is, from running a kids' team, there's one kid we've got on the team whose two older sisters play on other teams. And they're good, man. I can say that women's football will naturally get better over years because it's not even funding has gone into it, more talent has gone into it, more skilled coaches have gone into it.
They need a generation of female coaches, a good generation.
And better setups of clubs. It's not just a school mum that's running the club. It's a set chairman and treasurer and manager or director of football kind of thing, like head of the managers, and then different youth levels. That's what will make women's football better. And I think we'll see by the end of our lifetime, it will come to a point where it's just as good of a skill level. It's just a question of whether it brings in as much money.
Who do you think is going to win the World Cup first, men or women? I'm going women.
No,
I'm going women.
I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, I would have
Didn't
agreed.
they nearly win it?
Yeah.
Did they get to a final?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago, I would have agreed. But after what we did in the last couple of tournaments, I feel like it's coming soon. I feel like for once in my life, I'm going to see, by the end of my lifetime, England win a World Cup. I'm not saying now, the next one, the next couple.
I think it'd be the women. Would you celebrate?
I'd celebrate as hard.
All right, here's one for you. So I think it was this year or last year, Manchester United, one of the biggest football clubs in the world, one of the first years they actually introduced a professional women's football team.
Yeah.
Now, if they went on to dominate, like Fergie did, women's football for the next, 4 or 5 years, win trophies, leagues and European cups and stuff like that, would you celebrate that as much as if it was
the way you've just
first team trophy?
The way you've just worded that has made me change my opinion, because I think that's what makes sports blow up. When you have a dominating team and like exceptionally good players. So you look at basketball became big over here back when Jordan and the Bulls were smashing it. So you have something to look at, like Chicago Bulls are about to break this record of winning this many games in a row. You go, your ears perk up, even not as a basketball fan. And you said it the other week, you would have seen that in the news and maybe seen highlights or something like that. Then you've got other sports that, I guess football in different countries when it's up and coming. You look at America, they're trying to get superstars in. So when they do something amazing, you're now watching highlights of American football, and people start to watch American football. Oh, sorry, American soccer.
I think what we're talking about is the contrast between male and female.
Even that, you go back to women's football just quickly. In America, that is the fastest growing sport out there.
Has been for a long time.
And especially in places like Miami, because you've got that's coming up as a soccer capital out there. It's crazy, but going back to the different industries, we're just picking on football.
Yeah, but is that typical as an industry sport? I think that's fairly typical. I know the Williams sisters brought up similar views when they did theirs. But I think that as a industry, I think that's typical of the industry. I think males will always get that more exposure, more tournament money. Have they aligned it now in Wimbledon? I knew it used to be outstanding. The men used to get more money. Might have aligned it.
I don't know if they have, but I think, again, it comes down to your superstars. If you get one woman tennis player that is just smashing records, and you start to take note of, oh my God, she's about to take over records that men have set, that's when you start to look at that kind of sport, or a woman's sport.
Yeah,
but then again, it's staying on sport. Look at, say, netball, for example. I couldn't tell you of a men's netball team. I know that Gary Neville and Phil Neville's sister runs the England women's netball team. Surely women's netball earns more money than men's netball, if there is such a thing.
There's no money in those kind of sports. That whole sport itself, there's no gender split in terms of what that's generating. There's no revenue. No revenue. Good example at the minute. One of the things that could seamlessly splice men and women competing in competitive what is known as sport. I mean, it depends what you class as sport. Some people, a lot of people, class darts as sport.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I know what you're about to say.
There's a couple. I'm really, really sorry, but I can't remember their names. Maybe we'll put this one up after the episode and give them a little shout out. But Sharon, she was the first person that beat a chap in a professional game. And there's been a lady this week that's broke the record for the highest average, free dart average, over 100, over a ton, which is absolutely mental in darts. And that's what it's going to come down to. Like in your job, is there any kind of physical difference in output? So strip it back a little bit, bring it back to like building sites.
Bricklayers, yeah.
Yeah. So you're bumping tiles. Yeah, so for all the uneducated people that never works on a building site, bumping tiles, you're going up and down ladders with like a fair old weight on your shoulder. Now, from a physical point of view, would you say a man or a woman should be genetically predisposed to perform better in that role?
Again, I think that depends on output. So if the bloke is putting up numbers, and I suppose you have to start measuring it, but say he's in the space of an hour, he's going up and down the ladder more times than the woman is, then obviously he's carried more up, which is more efficient. Maybe he should be paid more money. But flip that, there's probably women out there that could lift a shitload more than I could. If she's doing it quicker than...
I worked on a building site.
Younger.
Yeah, 16 years old. I worked on a building site, right? And my job was bumping tiles. And I had to go up and down ladders, and there's these big, horrible slate tiles. I was 16 at the time, you know what I mean? You think you're strong.
Not until you get there.
I was working with my stepdad, and his boss was a geezer called Jack, and he was a little bit old. He was probably in his 60s then. And I think they'd seen me struggling all day trying to bump these tiles. They put down a challenge for me. So Jack, the basic pensioner, said, I bet I can bump same amount of tiles as you, or more, in the same amount of time. I was like, behave yourself.
Oh, what? You didn't take him on?
Geezy done me about 4-1.
Yeah, I can just picture you dying on the floor.
He battered me, guys. 4-1.
Bring it back. He should be paid more than you.
Yeah, I was terrible.
But again, there will be women out there that can carry a lot more than I can. So 100% she should be paid more money than I should in that job.
Okay, what about if the physical practicality comes down to a compromise of the actual job role? Like police force, for example, right?
Okay, and security guards and things like that. Yeah,
to a degree. But imagine it's the police. I don't know what year it was, but I believe there used to be a minimum height rule.
Yeah, and they had to pass a certain test, like a initiation test.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that there's not ladies out there that are 6'1" that, you know, are police women, like constables, whatever they are. I'm not saying that. There's many elements to that job.
Yeah.
But there may be a time when you're called to the front line. There's a riot kicking off. Very likely at the moment.
Or protect someone or a building or something. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
When you're going to come into a confrontation.
So if you have got a front line, and it'd be a bad decision whoever made this one anyway, but if you did have a front line and a riot is kicking off, you're battened up, you've got your shield, you've got your truncheon. If you're trying to protect your own interest, who would you like to see on that front line in terms of capability? Do you want to see some hench meathead who you know is going to batter a few protesters?
Just by looking at them.
You know, or do you want to see someone who's 5'2", 8 stone wet through, and, you know, risk her own life? Like,
I know what you mean, but then there's certain jobs in the police department.
I know there's other roles.
If you've got, say, a consulting job, then I feel probably most women are better compelled to empathise with families that they have to deal with or anything like that.
Yeah. The skill sets.
So you can't take the police force as one general thing.
No,
I think
skill set.
if you're in security, as in private security or working for the police, securing something, the better equipped or the better at their job, because there will be women out there that are better than some men physically or just crowd control or anything, then 100%. If you're better at your job, and there will be industries out there that women are better at, say like that in the police force, I reckon consulting officers would be better as women because they're probably better equipped to have empathy with these families.
Care industries,
women dominate the care industry.
Predominantly female orientated.
I was going to say to the extent of teachers, but then again, there are men teachers that are just as good. And it depends on, that's controversial because of style of teaching.
Yeah, not capability.
I had one maths teacher and it was horrible. Throughout the whole of secondary school, I had him for 4 out of 5 years, right? And he was so strict that you just couldn't talk. You used to walk in, he'd give you like a countdown conundrum. I remember it, the first 30 seconds, or first minute, sorry. You had to sit there in silence and do this. And that set you off for basically shutting the fuck up for the rest of the lesson. And I come out with an A. I hated him. No, I didn't hate him because he was good at his job, but I used to hate going into his class because it was like, this is boring. You have to be silent. It's terrible. But I obviously took in so much information. So I hated him as a teacher, but brilliant teacher. Should probably be paid more than the teachers that let me dick around.
So should he be paid more?
The ones that get better results, yes.
No.
In any industry, the one that gets the better results should be paid more. If you're an odd carrier and you carry more than a woman can, then you should be paid more. If you're an odd carrier and you're a woman and you carry more than what a man can, you should be paid more.
No, I'm not going to debate that, but most job roles you go into, that's not how the appraisal system or bonus commission system works. You've got a set salary. And I suppose the main point would be, is there equality across the board rather than just kind of, I know we're trying to like pinpoint it with a few examples. We talked about industries, haven't we? So we talked about the sports industry. We talked a little bit about like the manual labour side of things. What other things are out there where we even know that there is or shouldn't be that gap?
The one that made the news the most was presenters. So you look at BBC presenters that are signed on contract to them, and they went into it, and it was crazy amounts that the men were being paid more than the women. And they knew it and accepted it. You've got people like, I can't name a lot, but like Fiona Bruce, for example, newsreader, was being paid so much less than the male newsreaders. It was mental.
Old school institution, though, isn't it? BBC. Old boys club.
They're not woke.
Yeah.
And then I suppose that's what it takes. It comes out in the public eye. People go, that's outrageous, which I think men and women did. There's not a lot of fight that you can put against that, as in they should be paid more. No way, they do the same job, they put in the same numbers.
Industry I work in, predominantly female orientated. It's something like a 70-30 split.
Right.
To what I work in. And I've worked with some really, really like inspirational managers over my time, and the things that they've bought that you can't measure. You couldn't turn around and say, right, she should have got paid more than the guy next to her. Like, I had a manager, one of my first managers that really put any kind of structure around any kind of way I worked, and a lot of the stuff that, you know, I speak to you about how I approach comes from her. And she started as a manager. She went on to attend my wedding.
Yeah.
She's gone on to be a bit of an inspiration in terms of like driving life. She went from being a call centre manager to not a power lifter, but one of them girls that like look like they've been lifting weights for days and they're cut to shit. Just looking like a body toner or something.
Yeah.
But she looked awesome. Like, she had massive amounts of drive. You know, I've ended up going around her house doing quiz nights with her, being the quiz master, falling asleep halfway through a question.
As
like,
you do,
know, red wine. If you can't tell, I like a glass of red wine. But what an inspirational lady, man. She just keeps going. She keeps changing.
And I think that's it. If that makes her better at something than another person, then hell yeah,
they all got
paid
paid
more.
the same as the next dude who's drab as fuck sitting next to her.
Well, that's unfair. In any industry, you should have measurements of quality at your job. No matter how strict they are or how loose they are, you should have measurements of quality, and that determines who gets paid more than the others. And that kind of inspires your workers as well to say, I want to be on that grade, so all I need to do, no matter of my race, colour, gender, sexual preference,
Yeah, man.
I can make that amount of money because I will be better at my job.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. I think we've literally just solved the world's problems in equal pay.
Simples.
Right, get on to Boris. Make it happen. Let's do this. We're going to start like a revolution right now.
Okay, random fact me up what you got for me.
Okay, right. I found quite a few this week, and I'm thinking, wait, do you know what? I might drag this out and save them because I found the billions of brilliant ones, right?
Cool.
First one I'm going to throw at you. 12% of people dream in black and white.
Do they?
That's mental. 12%.
What, are they colourblind?
Now, straight away, as soon as I read that, I thought, do I? I can't remember a dream in colour.
No, I'm colour, man, all day long.
I could name me a dream you've had in colour.
Who's dreaming in black and white?
I'm not saying I do, because there must have been times I've noticed a red scarf or a blue river or something.
It's black, it's white.
Something even more fucked up, right? Little side fact off the back of that. Before colour TV, it was 15%. So how much of an influence has the media actually played on us?
TV's got a lot to answer for. Do you know this stat? Well, a fact. You know they used to say, sit back from that TV, it's bad for your eyes.
Oh, they go square.
Nah, it was bad for your eyes. It was bad for you as a human. Back in the day, they're called tube TVs, right. And they used to kick out low levels of radiation.
Oh shit! I thought you meant like just sitting that close to, like using your eyes.
No,
too much.
Man, the closer you sat to that TV, the more likely you were to get low level radiation.
They've got a nuclear bomb sitting there. I stare at this.
You get similar things nowadays if you go for an X-ray, etc. It's similar levels of exposure, or go for a scanner in an airport, etc.
Constant.
But yeah, don't sit too close to that TV. Your fucking face will melt.
Well, don't sit too close to your nan's TV because that will fuck you up.
Yeah.
Right, I've got another one, right? Like I said, I've got some brilliant ones, right? This one, in the nature of International Women's Day.
Hell yeah.
Multitasking is impossible. It's been proven.
Is it?
What it's called, right? It's called context switching. So you could be doing 2 or 3 different things at once, but you're never thinking about all of them at once. You're going from that one to that one, to that one, to that one, to that one, to that one.
Are you spinning plates?
Yeah, basically, but really quick in your mind.
Is that not multitasking?
No, because multitasking is doing 2 things or more at once, right? What you're doing, say I don't know, think of an example. You could be washing up and the kettle's boiling because you're about to put it on the hob and cook something, right? So as you're washing up, your brain will switch to, is that kettle boiled? And now you're not thinking about what you're washing up.
Okay.
And then it will quickly switch back to washing up. So it's called context switching, right? But what it does, the error rate ups by 50%.
What do you mean?
So no matter how good you are at washing up,
yeah,
if you're doing something else at the same time, the amount of errors you would make normally will increase by half. And also, it takes you twice as long.
There's a weird human quirk. You know when you're concentrating on something,
Yeah.
And you're giving it the best kind of concentration. You know, a lot of people will put like a pen in their mouth.
Yeah.
Or they poke their tongue out.
Yeah.
And apparently what it does is it separates the left and the right side of the brain. It helps you separate thought process. So one side of the brain, which is naturally more gifted and more efficient at performing certain tasks, can concentrate on those tasks.
I suppose that's like when you're driving and you say you don't know where you're going or you're trying to concentrate.
Turn the music down.
You turn the music down.
Yeah.
Because
next time, guys, next time you're doing something at home and you're really, really concentrating, let's have a little look, see where your tongue is. Unless
you're doing something with your tongue. Then probably stop listening. Turn the music down.
Turn it off.
Turn the music down and you'll be doing better. Anyway, sorry, multitasking. I just want to bring that back. Is actually a bad thing. So next time someone says to you, well, I can multitask, and be like, well, that means I can do it better.
Risky. Risky business.
What else we got? What did you find on your random facts?
You can't hum and hold your nose at the same time. See?
Do you know the power that you just have? Everyone who's listened to this has literally just tried to hum and then held their nose and gone, oh shit.
You're sitting opposite me and you just did that.
Right, do you know what? I've got something even better for you, right? Did you know that a man can't flex his penis without clenching his arsehole? And in the name of International Women's Day, a woman can't clench her vagina without clenching her arsehole. And the power I've got of all y'all out there who just tried that exact thing. You're welcome.
I'm not even going to go into detail on that. I'm just going to let that ride.
You just tried it though, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, I'm done. Joe, tell me what we learnt this week.
Oh, geez. Basically, Burger King have said you can have it your way. As long as that way is women in the kitchen. Following it up with really poorly timed jokes, that geezer is definitely getting the sack. Harry and Meg's, man.
Yeah, that's going to dominate news for ages, but I'm pretty much done with it, I think.
Still not sure how I feel about it, to be fair. I need time. I need time to reflect.
Leave that out there.
Aliens are back. Happy days. Fucking with fucking about in Tesco car parks in Royston.
Nice.
Not entirely sure what message.
Only fucking with your key fobs.
Yeah.
not your phone, not your brain, nothing. Just your key fobs.
Not sure what they're trying to say to us. NHS continues to get the fucking piss taken out of a 1% fucking pay rise.
Yeah, that's we did dive into that a little bit, but just to do it justice, I think we can both agree it is disgusting.
Men and women should basically get paid the same unless you can wrap one into the top bins from 35 yards.
And pull in a crowd that will watch you do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You've got 12% of people now dreaming in black and white.
Racist bastards.
What colour do you think Stevie Wonder dreams in?
Oh, no, that's horrible. You can't summarise with that because that blows my mind. Can blind people dream if they've been blind from birth?
When they hear someone's voice, do they have a picture in mind? Like, I just called to say I love you.
He is a superstitious prick though, isn't he?
Has this geezer even seen a birthday cake?
Happy birthday! He's looking in the corner of the room, talking to the plant as the birthday party's going on behind him.
Where does he get his inspiration?
Happy birthday!
Fucking hell.
When you come to the end of the line with a buddy who is more than a brother and a little less than a wife, getting blind drunk together is really the only way to say farewell.
Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Think out there.
That's all, folks.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben.
Good night, everyone.
Blaze 2, get at me in the morning.